Okay, so I'm here with Rocco. He is one of the enologists that works with Teo. There he is. And he's going to tell us something about, he's basically doing the testing, the analysis during fermentation. So it's very similar to what we had a couple of days ago, where he's got samples from different timeline since fermentation began. Rocco, what are you doing here now? Just filtering the wine?
Filtering the wine for two analysis in the Wenopos. Then we analyze this
In the machine?
in the machine,
Right.
Wenopos, to evaluate the fermentation.
Right.
So sugar, alcohol, and other parameters.
Right. Acidity. You
Yes.
talked about that
pH.
earlier. Yep. Okay. From day 1, day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days? Or is it-
They are a different tank.
Oh, different tanks?
Yes.
Okay. How
So
many days has passed?
Every tank is in the step different.
Okay.
For example, 68, 78 is start to fermentation, but 69 is in the end of fermentation.
Okay. Okay.
In different days we have a different situation
Yeah.
in different tanks.
Okay.
Fermentation during about 8-10 years. Nice.
Okay. All right. So we have different samples from different tanks, obviously, and then they're all at different stages of fermentation. And as he said, 68 and 69. This is towards the end here, and 68 is the beginning. So it's interesting how it's getting filtered here through pretty much a basic kind of cloth or paper filter.
So in this machine, Wenopos, we analyze alcohol, sugar, potential alcohol, acidity, total acidity, acid, malic acid, pH, volatile acid.
Okay.
In this machine, analyze different parameters. For example, color, tonality, acid, malic acid, lactic acid, sugar, and other parameters.
So the wine is now being inserted into the machine, and very little, just like 2 or 3 milliliters.
In 3 minutes, you can receive the results
Gotcha.
of analysis.
Yeah.
So, for example, in the tank 68, you have 1.12 of alcohol, so it's the start of fermentation.
Ethanol
The
is
sugar
alcohol.
is very
Okay.
brink, it's very high. 2018.
Yeah.
This is alcohol potential.
Yeah.
So this is the alcohol.
What it will end up with, right? At the
Yes,
end.
in the end of fermentation.
Yes.
Total acidity is 4.57.
Okay. And that's lower than, it's a little low, right? You
It's
want it
not
higher?
very high, but you can evaluate these parameters with manual titration.
All right, so he's actually testing 3 different types of yeast, and so you can see the names on there. So Rocco, tell me, so what would you use this for, and that and that?
So now we are testing these different types of yeast in this complex. This complex, because at the end of the fermentation we evaluate what is the biggest types of yeast
Okay,
for to use in this case on the white must.
gotcha.
So in this tank there is the same must, but there are different yeast of an artist. Red fruit, Q citrus, S 1081.
Okay.
Now every day I evaluate the process of fermentation. So at the end I evaluate what is the biggest, the greatest yeast to use.
Okay.
This typology of must.
All right. So Rocco was telling me from his analysis so far, he has established that this it's called citrus is the best yeast to use for this particular batch because it has a fast fermentation rate compared to the other two, the red fruit and the ES 181. So that is what they are going to be using to get the level of alcohol that they need for the wine that they're making. You know why? Would all of these tanks have different characteristics, right? Even though it's the same clone, Primitivo, there's a lot of differences in where it was grown and from which grower it came. So, for instance, there's a lot of small growers that actually feed or provide their grapes to the winemakers, and so there's a lot of characteristics that can be different from how big the vineyard is, as well as the terroir itself, the clay, the soil, how much rain it got, how much sunlight did it have, and he was explaining how literally even in the same vineyard, same lot, one vine could produce, let's say, for instance, 10 grapes, and the other one produces 12 grapes. There again, there is a difference there because that vine that was producing the 12 grapes probably was, fighting for all of the nutrition or the nutrients from the ground, which is different from the other vine. So there are so many characteristics that are different, and hence it results in a different levels of everything that we're looking at there, the sugar level, the acidity, and everything else. So it's very, very interesting that such a micro change happens even in a little space. So Rocco is tasting the wine now. And okay, which one is this one? This is the most, you were saying?
It's the start of fermentation.
Beginning of fermentation?
Beginning of fermentation. So you can smell vegetal notes. The alcohol is not present, and the mouth is very sweet. Very sweet. This is different because the fermentation is start to 3 days ago.
Okay.
So you can smell different types of notes.
Okay.
So the vegetal notes is not present, but
right.
You can smell alcohol, fruits, red fruits, cherries.
Alcohol, you can definitely feel the alcohol now.
Yes.
This is 3 days?
Yes, 3 days. Yes, 3